Okay, this is our little base that we use for the little gifts that we give away. And I told you it's about 1.5 inches across. 1.5 inches. I'm sorry, it's not that much. Just a minute. It might be just a second. Yeah. I'm sorry, I have to measure it again. Yes, it's about 1.5 inches across here. So this is our little base that we use. And today what we're going to do is we're going to make, for whittling projects, a little bowl and a spoon to fit on here to give away. Now what I did is I went and cut a square, just a square piece of basswood, which is 1 inch by 1 inch and about 1 inch and 3/8. Okay, and that's what I'm going to use to make my little bowl. Now of course, as you can see, it's bigger and taller and everything like that, but that will all be cut down. So the reason I made it bigger is so that I could hold it and do what I needed to do to make the little bowl. Okay? Alright. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. We're just going to kind of draw a little inside of our bowl right here. A little circle for the inside of our bowl, and we'll work it as we go along. Now I'm going to use my small gouge to work this out. And I'm going to go to each side of it, and I've got to be real careful. I can't take off a bunch at one time. And then I turn it around and I take that bit off. In other words, you want to be careful because this is going to be very small. Okay? And you just go from side to side and you work that out as you go along. But you want to be real careful because of the simple fact that this is small. You don't have much to play with, so you want to now if you've got a little Dremel or a moto tool, you can just, if you want to, of course this is a whittling, so I'm not going to suggest that. You could just, you know, ground it out or whatever. But we're going to do it with a but you can see this is only about 1/8 of an inch right here, this little gouge, and we're going to work it with that. Okay? And I'm being real slow too because I'm having to hold it. I'm out in my garage now. I apologize for my voice. You're probably thinking, who in the world is that? I had a cold, and we've been having some really strange weather around here lately. It's been cold, hot, cold, hot. One day it's you know, the mornings are pretty cool, and then now it's probably 90 degrees out there. So I think it's just the change in the weather has been an issue, and but what you do first is you go ahead and get the inside of the bowl, you know, is started just as much as you can, because you have these sides here before you start taking things off to make the bowl that you want. Okay? Always start with that. always start with just going from side to side, taking off, being real slow about it, and then very slowly we'll start taking the now you can also I also have a little bit bigger larger gouge, what I also can use. See, I can get it done a lot quicker. And so, but you want to be real careful that you don't, you know, you're when we do these small, that's why I tell you that I don't recommend this for young carvers who have not learned the control of their tools. And I guess I should be reprimanded for not wearing a glove, but once again, and when I wear a glove trying to hold this, I can't hold it. I just can't. I have to grip down to hold it because my hands, I have problems with gloves. I've always had a problem working with gloves. For years I had to work with gloves out at the plant, and I hated it because I just couldn't work with them. Now, that doesn't mean you know, I had to work with gloves, and they made me do it. But I never could handle things well with gloves. I just couldn't. I couldn't get the bite on them that I wanted to, and so actually the little bit bigger gouge. I think this is a 1/4 inch. Gouge is what it is. Seems to work a little bit better. I was afraid that it would be a little bit too big to use, but obviously it's not, in other words. And we want to work this out. We want to work the bowl out before we begin anything else. Now, okay, you see that? We're almost there. But you want to get the inside done first, because then when I start taking off the sides to make the bowl and bring it down and everything like that, then I don't want, it's going to be awful hard to hold when we start that. Okay. So yeah, I got a cold. I'm from this weather that we're doing. So now I'm just kind of, I've almost got it now. See, I've almost got the inside of the bowl, which I think it's just about done. I just take my time. Don't get in a rush. Take your time. Don't. That's why I tell many people that are new at carving, if you haven't mastered using your tools, don't go after small stuff yet. Learn to. There was a woman on my site on Lextop Carving asked a question. She said, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I don't cut these things out, folks. I mean, all you're seeing is just someone who has a cold and is trying to. A lot of people cut that out. Oh, that's terrible. But I don't think it's that terrible. I mean, we all get a little sick at times. And that's what happens to us. So I think that's down pretty good. I really do. I think we've got it down in a pretty good shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to then go to the knife, and we're going to start going around, taking the sides off. Okay, we just begin to go around and take the sides, going completely around the bowl and bringing it down. And let's come over here, and we just need to take a little bit off at a time. We don't have to get rambunctious. And we're going to kind of come at this here bottom part at an angle. Take that off. Take that off. Take that off. So you see what we have here. Where's my gouge? I want to make it a little bit more before we get it down too small. All right, now that should do it. All right, okay. Now, as we start bringing things to an angle here, we start cutting things off. But see, as you get down, you see what I was talking about. You start getting less and less wood, so you have less to hold on to. So you start dealing. That's why it's so important to get the inside of the bowl done first. And I think most people understand that, because when you do a bowl, most people turn bowls. They turn their bowls, and that's what they basically do. But we're just going to carve a little one here. And you just go from side to side, because a bowl, of course, is round. And we're just going to make this one of those old-timey wooden bowls with a spoon. And as you get closer and closer to the place that you want it to be, you start removing more and more of this area here. Okay, let me look at about how deep that is. So we come back right here, so we've got room to take off the bottom part of it. What I'm doing is measuring the inside of the bowl. In fact, what I can do is do it with I can measure it, which is, that doesn't look too good because it doesn't have That's not a very good measurement. Okay, somewhere about right there. So we look here and we've still got quite a bit to take off. And there we can take some more off as we go along. And as we look at it, see, we want the bowl to be much smaller than this, than the base. Yeah, the being hot and cold like this, I start getting laryngitis. I start getting colds, and not real bad colds or anything like that. But there's a virus running around now. I didn't get it, but there is a virus running around among adults and children right now down in our area. So, you know, things are kind of getting now, as we see, we're getting closer and closer to what we want as far as our piece. And so we don't want to be too rough with it. In other words, we don't want to cut off a bunch of stuff. We don't want to do that and mess up. And we'll look at it again, about right there. So we are getting very close to the bottom here, not to take off any more than what we have to as far as the bowl is concerned. But you see how you start off with a bigger piece, and then you begin to work it to the smaller piece like that. Okay. Like I said, we just go around, we take off. So already now we're looking, we're getting close to where it's looking like a bowl. And we work around that area. I love, my grandmother had some of them old wooden bowls and with the wooden spoons, and they're heirlooms now. She had a lot of little things. One of the things that my brother took when my mother died, because my grandmother had it upstairs where I was living after Harvey for a while, is it was a little stove. It was a little metal stove, and it was black. It was a miniature. And she had that. She had had that forever, and it's quite an heirloom. It really was quite a unique little piece. Okay, as we get further away now, as we look at the piece now, look, it's fitting. It fits very easily on the piece. And I'm just going to take a little bit more off the bottom. Okay. And here we go. About right there. Yeah, we're almost, we don't want to take too much more off the bottom. Yeah, if measure how deep you go, and don't go any deeper than what is necessary. Now on the sides you can take whatever you want to off, but not on the bottom anymore. If you get down to there, because what you'll do is you'll hit a point where it will become, you'll go into the bowl at the bottom of the bowl itself, and you'll have a hole at the bottom of it. So, and now I'm just basically going around the bowl and just taking off pieces, as you see, and getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And watch, more important is watch your I'm sorry, watch your grain. I don't know what the heck's wrong with me. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to, I'm expecting a, I'm gonna go sharpen my knife a little bit. I went to a club meeting last night and I forgot. I haven't sharpened my knife since then, and I want to sharpen it as I get down closer to the end of this, so that it has plenty. So I'm just gonna interrupt this whole thing for just a minute, and look at this. See, we've got a little bowl and it's working great, but I noticed that my knife is not sharp as it should be, and I forgot to do it. But as you can see what we're doing here, so what we're going to do, we'll come back. I'm going to sharpen my knife. We'll come back and we'll I'm sorry, we'll start this again to finish up the bowl, and then we'll work on